Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I'm gonna take this sleigh bed from country to modern classic. It's gonna have a whole new look, adding some paint and some cane. So if you wanna see this makeover, just keep watching. Today's video is sponsored by Jolie Paint. I'm going to be using their products to make over this bed because I'm continuing #Year of Jolie and May is bedroom. So here we go. This is a beautiful sleigh bed that belongs to one of my friends, but it's in rough shape. She's had it in her family for a while, so there's lots of dings and scratches. So my inspiration for this are those Ballard Design, Pottery Barn, restoration hardware beds that you see that are a beautiful neutral color with that cane feature, but I definitely don't want that $1,500, $2,000 price tag, so we're gonna do a dupe today. To get this started, I'm gonna clean my piece like I always do. I've grabbed some Dawn dish soap, that's a grease cutting soap, and some warm water, and I'm just gonna scrub and get all the dust and dirt off of this. And then I'm gonna take some clean water and rinse it off. I was very happy to see that my rag was clear, didn't have any orange stain on it, so I'm not going to have to prime or stain block this piece, but I am going to scuff it up a little bit with some Jolie sanding pads. This is a fine one. It's a really shiny surface, so I'm just going to kick back a little bit of that finish so my paint has something to stick to. You can see those nicks and dings are really coming out now. This piece is well loved, but the paint finish we're going to put on there is going to go really well with that. So I don't need to fill and sand and make this thing perfect before I paint it. And after I'm done scuff sanding, I'm just going to wipe back any of that dust. I pulled out my color mixing guide to create a custom color for this piece, and I ended up picking a beige that was 1 part farmhouse beige and 4 parts pure white. I'm going to use my large signature brush, which is a natural bristle brush, to paint this on, and I'm doing the classic style, which is painting in every direction. This is going to give me just a little bit of texture, nothing crazy, nothing rustic, but it is going to lend itself really well to all those little nicks and dings that I had, because it's still going to look hand painted and not furniture, you know, dipped from a factory. This is the same painting style that I used on the little entryway table that I did with Jolie recently, and this is the style that I used on my bed back when the first time I ever tried this paint out. Okay, this color is looking really good on camera, but in person it almost looked white, and that was not what I was wanting. I wanted a wood-toned color, so this time on my second coat after that first one dried, I just am doing farmhouse beige straight. No mixing it, no cutting it with that pure white. And I'm adding a little bit of water because I like my second coat to flow a little bit more, but I'm painting it on in the same style, just in every direction with that classic finish. I definitely am liking this color better than the original color, so that was a good choice. So I'm going to paint the rest of the bed in that farmhouse beige, and then once that's dry, I was ready to do my caning portion. So this is the cane you've seen me use before on my channel and other DIYers. It actually is suitable for making chairs, but I got a roll of this decorative cane. It's a lot more flexible, and it's actually meant to be used for decorative things like headboards and other furniture that you're not actually going to sit on. It doesn't have to be strong enough for you to sit on it, so I thought this was going to be a better option, plus it's cheaper. So I'm just kind of making this up as I go. I like to lay things out and cut them to size that way as opposed to measuring. I just always feel like my measuring gets off. In the way the cane is lined up, you can make marks and keep your lines really straight because of the way that it's woven together. So I just kind of set mine up here, figured out where I needed to snip it, and then trimmed it down to size. After I got these cut, I decided I wanted to whitewash them because it's very yellow, even so more than regular cane. So I'm going to grab some of my gesso white and make a wash out of that. So I'm just doing a 1-to-1 ratio with paint and water. And then I'm going to wash that on all the cane and wipe it back with a lint-free cloth. So once I whitewashed that first piece and got it up on the headboard, I was not liking the contrast. So I decided I wanted to go monochromatic. So I pulled my cane back down and I did a wash with the farmhouse beige. So still that 1-to-1 ratio. I'm just using the same color that I used on the headboard. Okay, so I was liking this color so much better, so I'm ready to attach it, and I find that it's better to attach it when it's wet like this. This decorative cane, you don't have to soak like regular cane, but having it wet helped me pull it taut a little bit and helped get those wrinkles out. I'm using a pneumatic staple gun because we have one. You definitely don't have to have one of those. You can just use a regular staple gun or you can use an electric one, but this one's super powerful and we have it, so this is what I used. I did this by trial and error, and I definitely learned a lot on the headboard, which is good because the headboard's mostly going to be covered up by pillows, but I wanted to get this down before I tackled the footboard because that is going to be totally exposed. So again, I am washing that with that farmhouse beige, so it's going to be a little bit wet and flexible when I go to put it on the footboard. And I found that starting at one end and kind of working your way down works a lot better. And if you can enlist the help of someone, I had my husband come out and help me pull it taut while I stapled it. And if you have someone that can do that, great. If you don't, just kind of pull it as you go with your other hand. And as you're pulling it tight, it can fray a little bit, so I just wove those pieces back in. So this is as close as I could get the staple to my actual border. I was thinking I was originally going to cover these up with some wood spline that I bought, but it did not cover them up. So plan B was to paint them. So I grabbed some of my artist brushes that have these really tiny detailed brushes, grabbed some of my farmhouse beige and just painted over top of the staples to camouflage them. And like I said, the cane can shift around a little bit while you're stapling it on, so I had my wash and touched up any little areas that were showing with that original color of the cane. After I let let this dry, I took it over to my friend's house and put it together, and didn't think about these staples coming through the other side. I didn't realize how thin this panel was. So I just pushed those staples back in with the hammer so that they wouldn't be sticking out and snagging the bedding that we're going to put in. Then I just put a little bit of wood filler in there, let that dry, sanded it down, and painted it. So be smarter than me and make sure that your staples aren't going to go all the way through your footboard. And once I got it in the room, I saw there was a little unevenness on the cane. So I am just taking some of that farmhouse beige and doing a dry brushing technique. So I'm wiping back most of the paint. I'm using that same brush that I painted the headboard with, and I'm just lightly kind of feathering some color on to make it all look even. I'm going to be using their finishing wax and clear to seal my piece. This is the same technique that I used to seal my bed, and it is holding up very well. I'm using the large wax brush to put this on, but you could also use a lint-free rag to apply it if you don't have a wax brush. But these wax brushes work really nice if you are looking to invest in some. And I also used my small wax brush. That one has a little point on the tip of it, and it's going to help me get into these little recessed areas and any details you might have on your piece. So it is nice to have both to work with. I love the finish that wax gives, and it's actually pretty durable. I know people are usually concerned about that, but you don't have to worry about drips and globs when you're putting wax on, and if you miss a spot, you can go in and fix it. When you're working with a water-based sealer, you can't always do that, but Jolie has a great one if you would prefer working with a water-based sealer. Once I get a section done like this, I'll grab a shop towel like this or a lint-free cloth, and I just wipe away any excess wax that may be sitting on my piece. You can also come back in a couple of hours and buff it up to a shine. I typically don't do that because I like a matte finish. So I just brush it on like this, kind of wipe away the excess, and I'm good to go. I didn't want to get gobs of wax in my cane, so I just took a little bit of wax, wiped away the excess on a paper towel, and then lightly went over this area. Wax does take 30 days to cure down completely, so I told my friend no scrubbing or cleaning this for 30 days, but you can still use the bed. You just need to be gentle with it. So after I let it set overnight, I'm just adding the new bedding, and I want to say thank you to Betty's for providing this set for my friend and this makeover. Betty's is not just for kids, you guys. They have this new amazing luxe line with these beautiful textures, and this set is called Cream of the Crop. So just to remind you, here is what we started off with, and here is our new modern classic sleigh bed, complete with cane feature. I can't believe how amazing this turned out, you guys. The staples are completely hidden. It's just so much brighter in here. I have styled it up to the max, you guys, but just the bed portion, all in, I used $100 in materials to dupe a bed that could cost anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. So I think that's a total score. I think this is totally beginner friendly. Am I crazy? Let me know in the comments if you'd be brave enough to tackle this. Thanks for joining me for today's video. Check out some of my other videos before you leave. I will be back next week with another project. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.